Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part one of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of June 26th through June 30th. So, the last week of trading in June. And in this weekly trading game plan will hopefully help you make money trading this summer. We'll talk about how to make money trading during the summer. So, let's get started. Welcome, Easy Mike, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. Hope you all are doing well. So here's our Google document with our notes for our part one of our weekly trading game plan for this last week in June 26th through June 30th. We keep our Google documents, our notes in a Google document that's publicly accessible. You can find a direct link to this Google document in the description box below. And we store all of our notes in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder. So you can refer back to the notes for this week as well as previous weeks. And the link to this publicly accessible Google Drive folder also in the description box below. Our Google Documents with our notes contain links to bonus videos, all the tools that we use, references, etc. for our market analysis and strategies in part one of our weekly trading game plan. Welcome also Flip of the Shippa. Glad to see you as well. Hope you all are doing well. So we'll take a look at how the markets ended up this week. Going forward, we see all the indices were down. NASDAQ was down 1%, S&P almost 1%, Dow down 0.5% on Friday. Friday was a down week. We see 70% decliners to about 30% advancers. Got 30% new highs, almost 70% new lows. We're still about split 50-50 above and below the 50-day moving average. And now we have more just slightly over 50% below the 200-day. And we can see, overall Friday was bullish. And we see in the heat map, pretty much almost everything was in the red. The Megatech, the FANGs, bright red, Tesla down quite a bit. Healthcare, a couple greens. Meta was green, a couple financials green, but generally it was a, down day across the board. See some of the recent news. Canada wildfires. Russia. 40% tech stock rally. Fade. And is a losing week overall. So after, several weeks of exuberant runs, we had, a downturn. In my humble opinion, I think that was probably a healthy correction, and we'll see that in the indices as well. Oil actually dipped down below 69. We can see it was in the high 68s. Looked like we might get a breakdown further. Now it ran back up. We've got resistance now at 70. We'll see if we get a bounce down again off 70. Natural gas ran up. It's running up towards 3. It's above 250, headed towards 3. So we'll see if we get that test of 3. Gold and silver we'll see broke down significantly. So we see gold's now below that 1950 resistance point. So we'll see if it goes back and retests that 1950 point, and we can see the futures are all pointing down. Dollar was kind of erratic, 102, 101, 102. So we see the euro had run up and then rolled over on Friday, and we'll see that in all the futures as well. The bond curve is still significantly inverted. I think on Friday, the 5-year was up over 4% at some point, but yields did decline on Friday some. Welcome to Ricky Kahn. Thank you for joining us. So we'll look at each of the indices quickly. SPY. So we see, and we're going to see this in most of the charts, it, tested the upper bound of that ascending trend line and rejected off of it. So we'll see they're pretty much respecting these trend lines, still above its near-term moving average. So, some more correction down to test that moving average would not be unexpected, and then a potential bounce back up to retest that upper trend line. Longer term trend, we can see, we're in an uptrending market, so it's, generally a bull market. So we had again, in my humble opinion, a healthy correction. Got pretty extended above that longer term moving average. So this correction may continue for some time. Again, we're, quite a ways off that moving average. So again, a healthy correction would not be unexpected. Look at the NASDAQ. Again, we saw last week the NASDAQ was even more overextended. So here we've got, it's really a bullish engulfing candle from the previous week. But again, you can see how extended we are above that moving average. So again, more correction would not be unexpected. Again, very much a bull market, strong uptrend. So the trend is up. The longer term trend is up. The short term trend, short term correction. Dow's been pretty flat. So again, it's not really in an uptrending market. It's really in a range bound flat market. And we can see it's just kind of, oscillating up and down right now. IWM, the Russell is a little bit more volatile. We had the Russell rebalancing end of day yesterday, so a little bit more volatility in the Russell. We can see it bounce back down to test that trend line. So we'll see if that trend line provides some support and we get a bounce back up. But again, the Russell's been, weaker. Again, it's more range bound, just kind of oscillate vertically after that big drop. So look at the VIX. VIX really hasn't done much. And the VIX futures is showing at around 16. The real-time VIX, I think, is around 13, might even be in the 12s. Really hasn't been able to generate much volatility, as several people have pointed out, Easy Mike, etc. It seems like these 0DT options pretty much squelched, the VIX. It just hasn't really popped up back. Even when we had a downtrend in the market, the VIX really wasn't popping up very much. So we'll look at the groups, sectors, industries, etc. Look for sector rotation opportunities. Good morning, Danielle D. Thank you for joining us. Ricky Khan's asking about a coup in Moscow. Well, again, my humble opinion, all the Russian stocks have been pretty much delisted, etc. I don't think it'll have a major effect, might impact the oil market. Again, just my quick opinion to try to respond to that question, but I don't think it would have a major impact in the very short term. Maybe others have a difference of opinion. Just a quick reminder, none of our content should be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All of this is for education and entertainment purposes, and all of this is, my opinions. You should, do your own due diligence, have your own opinions before taking any trade. So I hope that helps. So if we look at the sectors from Friday, again, pretty much everything in the red. The least red was healthcare and communication services. The most red, utilities, real estate. Real estate really got hammered. The REITs really got hammered this week. So we'll see if we get a recovery there. Energy, again, oil dipped down below 70. Technology, again, on Friday, we had a rotation out of technology. We'll talk about the rotation in and out of the FANG stocks as a possible opportunity for short-term trading. For the week, again, we see real estate. The REITs got hammered. Basic materials were mixed on Friday, but had a poor week in technology. So we saw, rotation out of technology for the week. For the month, though, technology is one of the strongest, and energy, utilities, the weakest. There weren't a whole lot of industries that were positive. It's kind of interesting that real estate development and construction, so that's probably your home builders, were the most positive, but pretty much everything else was pretty negative. The most negative, solar, uranium, again, pushed down from energy. Copper, we'll see in the futures rolled over. The REITs, coal, semiconductors, again, we'll see that bounce off of the SOXL, bounced off its and retraced quite a bit. Again, for the week, not a whole lot positive, some medical, some real estate, and solar, silver, again, bounced down. I think it's sitting in the 22s now. Uranium, again, a lot of your REITs. So we'll see if there's some rotation back into those underperforming silver. Again, I mentioned had a rough week. So we'll look at the economic data from last week. I'll bring up investing.com. We'll go through the calendar from last week. We'll look at what's upcoming for this coming week and see what opportunities that might present. Let me grab a drink a second. Okay. Checking the chat a little bit. Glad to see you guys all chatting away, helping each other out. So again, Monday was the holiday, the Juneteenth holiday. So we had the shortened week. We're going to see we had, a lot of the FOMC presidents were talking. We're going to continue to get these FOMC members talking. Some more hawkish, some more dovish. Again, that caused a little bit of volatility, but I don't think the market's paying a whole lot of attention. I think we pretty much know what their stance in general is. Building permits was a little better than expected. Again, new homes is doing well. The home builders are doing well. It's just existing home sales pretty stifled from the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates, let's see, a little bit down, just slightly. Applications, week on week, just slightly positive. Again, a lot of Fed officials. Crude oil stocks were down, and yet the oil price went down. We got jobless claims. It was a little bit higher. Initial was a little bit higher than expected. Something that was pointed out, I think Leisman on CNBC pointed out that continuing claims is not increasing significantly. We see it went down. So people that are losing jobs are finding jobs relatively quickly. The 4-week average just creeping up a little bit. So again, job market's resilient. Fed doesn't have to worry about unemployment. They can continue to fight inflation. We know we heard and I'll talk a little bit about Powell's testimony on Wednesday, Thursday, but pretty much he reiterated we should expect 50 basis points more of rate hikes this year, probably 225s, and that they're kind of just slowing the pace. So we got the hawkish skip in June. And we might get another raise in July, and then again, September or some other time during the year. But we should expect 50 more basis points at a slower rate than they've been going. Oil inventories dropped significantly again, but the oil price went down. So again, I don't think the market's really paying attention to these inventory numbers. Natural gas storage was up, and again, natural gas price went up. Manufacturing PMI is below expectations. Again, these are indicators of recession, but it'll be a long time before we see if we actually have a recession this year. Rig count continues to decrease, but again, oil prices went down. So next week, let's see what we've got. So we've got more Fed speakers, not much Monday, building permits again. durable goods orders, home prices. So we'll see if that continues to be inflationary. It's expected to go up a little bit. New home sales probably will continue to be, reasonably strong. Mortgages, wholesale inventories, so nothing super eventful that I see. And then we get PCE on Thursday. So core PCE is one of the Fed's main data points they watch for inflation. We also get GDP quarter on quarter for quarter one, and it's expected to be, going down but still positive, which again would say we're not in a recession until we get negative GDP. Prices continuing to increase. So again, we get PCE data on Thursday and Friday. So again, those are main points going into the Fed's decision in July. So if that's worse than expected, then we might see a market reaction, get consumer sentiment. So expectations should go up is what they're expecting. Inflation expectations should go down is what they're expecting. So that might have a minor impact on the market. See if we have any earnings left for this season. So next week, Carnival. And again, you can go through this list in more detail. Looks like it's winding down quite a bit. So it's lightening up quite a bit. So again, if you see anybody that might, so Carnival, Bed Bath & Beyond's bankrupt. Nike, so that will affect retail. Paychex, FinTech. McCormick is food, spices. So again, you can see in more detail on this list in investing.com, and also I'll show you the shorter list in a minute in Webull as well. So again, once we wrap up this earnings season, then we'll kick off right into the next earnings season. We'll start this all over, rinse and repeat, start this all over again. So again, I don't know how many of you listened to the Powell testimony before the House on Wednesday, before the Senate on Thursday, but pretty much, in my humble opinion, he's just reiterating what we heard during the interest rate decision, the FOMC decision. Inflation's still hot. There's still a significant imbalance between supply and demand in the labor market. They need to get inflation down. That's most beneficial from everyone. So that's their primary concern is inflation, not so much unemployment. The banking, they continue to reiterate that the banking system is resilient. But they did comment that there was probably increased capital requirements on the larger banks. So in my humble opinion, again, that may stifle the earnings for the larger banks. Welcome, Mighty Soldier Trades. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you today. Nug M. So again, I don't know if anyone else picked up anything else from the Powell speech. It didn't really seem to cause a whole lot of volatility. He didn't really say anything that we haven't been hearing. Just a reminder, the next set of FOMC meetings is end of July, so we've got almost a month before the next FOMC meeting. We get a skip in August. That'll be the Jackson Hole, and we'll see what comes out of that. And so then we get another skip. So again, in my humble opinion, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went 25 basis points in July, because again, they'll have a 2-month time period between July and September to look at 2 months of data and see if they want to do their second hike for the year in September, or again, wait till October. Talked about the earnings calendar also in our Discord. You can see real-time earnings reports. So Our Discord's free to join. You can find an invite to our Discord in the description box below. I'll throw that up in the banner as well. And again, we have several channels. You can get economic news and the economic data near real time reported in the Surf the Markets channel in our Discord. And we have a earnings reports channel in the Discord where, again, earnings reports come out very quickly. So, again, our Discord gives you a great place to get real time economic data as well as earnings. Look at the markets in Webull real quickly. Grab a quick drink. See, Andy's talking about, or Mighty Soldiers Trading talking about SeaWorld. Yep. We have an annual pass to SeaWorld, and we really enjoy SeaWorld. So obviously we go to SeaWorld Orlando. So we look at the histogram of advancers decliners. This is the online version of Webull. I'm on the market screen on the online version of Webull. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, it's our primary tool we use for market analysis, due diligence, most of our trading. You can still get 12 free stocks up to I think they say up to $3,000 or something. For depositing any amount. They're also offering a 5% AP, 5% annual interest rate on your idle cash and cash management. So again, if you're not already using Webull, you can get your 12 free stocks as well as that 5% interest rate. We'd appreciate it if you'd use our affiliate link in the description box below. Help support our channel also in that way. So again, we see in the advancers decliners, we had almost, over 2-to-1, not quite 3-to-1 decliners on Friday, but the degree of the decline was very small. Some advancers and then just some long tails. This was interesting. The past couple of weeks, we've seen that the NASDAQ had inflows, and this week we see the NASDAQ had a major outflow. So we see that reversal this week. NYSE had inflows, NASDAQ had strong outflows on Friday. So again, we saw probably some profit taking in the FANG stocks in the tech sector, as that has been running pretty high. Again, you can see the near-term earnings calendar here in this market screen in Webull. Just flip over to the earnings. You see dividends and splits as well. So we see Carnival, etc. Before market open or after market close. So this is a good place to see the near-term upcoming earnings. We'll look at the best performing industries for the week. So mostly mixed, home builders a little positive, industrial negative, coal pretty negative. So mostly split. Education mixed. So generally pretty negative. Pharmaceuticals flat. Construction materials slightly positive. So almost everything was, slightly negative. Easy Mike's talking about Generac. Welcome. Free information. Douglas PC. Thank you for joining us. Let's look at the ETFs. We'll look at the indices. So down on the Dow, down on the Russell, small cap down, China up, or China down. That's a short on China, short on small caps. short the Dow, short the S&P. So you can see more bearishness, more shorts on the small caps, mid caps. So that will lead us, short on the Russell, small caps. So we see small caps, mid caps going to be under additional pressure. Uh, Here they're betting long on the VIX. Just FYI, UVXY reverse split on, I think it was Friday. Yeah, it was on Friday, as well as Boyle also reverse split. And I think Easy Mike said BXY or one of those also reverse split. Short on the euro. Again, small caps. China, short on China. Short on Europe. Almost all the industries are red. So again, this is from Friday. So consumer cyclical, slightly green. Commodities, energy a little positive. Industrial metals, natural gas had a good run on Friday. Platinum, we'll see that in the futures in a second. And let's see bonds. So zero coupon, 20 for long bonds. Extended duration, so very long end bonds. And all the currencies declined against the dollar. We'll see the dollar popped up on Friday. I don't know really why that was the case, but I think maybe just a correction, but maybe someone else in the chat has another opinion. Okay. Let's look at the futures real quickly. Grab a quick drink. So we see all the rollovers and all the indices. Again, they've been running pretty exuberant. We see it looks like the Dow is near a gap fill there. So we might see a bounce off that support level once it fills that gap. We see the S&P still got a significant distance to fall before it fills the gap. So again, we could see, pretty significant corrections in both the S&P and the NASDAQ. We see the NASDAQ found some support there at the, top of the previous jump. But if it breaks down below that, again, we could see a significant correction. There's that gap to fill down. So, there's some potential significant downside. We see the Russell really rolled over. So, and it's got, ways to fall. The Nikkei finally rolled over. So we've been talking about, the Nikkei had a good run. We were looking at shorting the Nikkei. I believe some of our fellow BeachBum traders, Easy Mike, etc., caught that rollover, probably making profit off that. I missed that. Also the rollover in Europe, DAX. So pretty much all the markets rolled over. We talked about the pop in the VIX. Although, again, this is VIX futures, and the current VIX is still, 12, 13. We see that breakdown in oil below 70. So now 70 is going to provide some level of resistance. So we'll see how low that goes. I do want to try to take advantage of a dip in oil and pick up a chunk of that USOI, the monthly dividend paying ETN. And we'll talk about that. We'll look at that in more detail tomorrow. Welcome, Stonks for Days. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. So again, we saw that breakdown in oil. We see this run up in natural gas. Again, it broke above that 250 resistance levels, uptrending, making higher lows. So we'll see if it goes and tries to test the $3 area. So again, strong uptrend. Not a whole lot of reason why. I guess who was it? Finland or one of the countries shut down one of their now, or in the Netherlands shut down production in one of their natural gas fields, one of the largest natural gas fields. And that may be one of the reasons why natural gas. Plus, we're starting to head towards fall, so we'll see if that uptrend continues. Again, we saw a breakdown in gold and silver. Silver really, took a dive down to 22. Looks like it bounced near 22. Again, oil started, or gold tried to bounce on Friday as well. Copper looks like it rolled over. Pretty much all the metals rolled over. Again, a weakness. One of the reasons for this is weakness in China's recovery. We're watching this dip in palladium. You can see it had a bounce. We took a long position in the ETF on palladium, PALL. We'll talk about that in more detail tomorrow. Ricky Kahn's mentioning that he had downgrade in Alcoa, so it's aluminum. So again, all the industrial metals, all the metals, took a significant decline this week. See some of the agricultural grains also rolled over. So corn rolled over, took a big dip, although wheat really bucked the trend. You see that exuberant run in wheat. Looks like it may have topped and started to roll over. Again, rice took a dive at some point. Lumber's still running high. Again, you got the Canadian wildfires, and bonds pretty flat, pretty choppy, not a whole lot of direction. 10 years downtrending, but again, pretty choppy. And we see the dollar was declining down to 101 or so, and then popped up on Friday. So all the other currencies declined conversely to the dollar. So Tony Rosas, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I want to skip forward and talk about strategies first, and then I'll come back to ETFs, assuming we have time. So in terms of making money trading this summer, I've got put together a number of videos that all talk about how to make money trading this summer. I parsed out some of our strategies on how to trade the summer stock market doldrums from last year, so you can hear that discussion. Summer tends to be a slow period. They call it the summer doldrums, so much less volume. And again, we talk about how to take opportunities, how to make money trading the stock market doldrums in this video, and you can access that video now via the bonus link in our notes. Also, we've got a couple short videos about how the stock markets tend to perform in the summer, what are typically the best performing sectors and industries in the summer. We've had the ones for June, and we also produced a couple for July. So again, now you can also access those short videos via the bonus links in our notes. So again, just to reiterate, summer tends to be slow or slower. Again, they call it the summer doldrum. So lower volume, you might see movements, some volatility, but on lower volume. So it can be more risky. So be careful if you're seeing a movement, but it's on low volume. It might not have a lot of conviction behind it. So again, be careful with those movements. Also, this week, we've got the end of month and end of Q2, so we may see some money manager hedge fund positioning ending up the quarter, going into the next quarter. They're going to have to do their reporting. My humble opinion, I wouldn't be surprised to see positioning back into the mega cap tech FANG stocks, so that when they report and their clients ask them, well, why didn't you have Microsoft, Google, Meta, etc., they can say, oh, I did at the end of the month. So again, my humble opinion, not financial advice, but I would not be surprised towards the end of the week if we didn't see a repositioning back into those mega cap techs, maybe even the AI stocks. Might see a rotation back into those AI stocks. So when they report, they can say, yeah, I had all the AI stocks at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter. We've been talking about sector rotation and along the lines of this low volatility, summer doldrums. I think, the sector rotation is going to continue to be the name of the game. One of the things that was interesting, and I do want to look at the technology components, our screener for that. So I'll bring up our ETF spreadsheet. We can look at those sectors. Is I think Wednesday they rotated back into the FANGs, into FANG U. Thursday they rotated out. Friday or the other way. Thursday they rotated in. Friday out. Wednesday was out. So we're seeing this rotation in and out of the mega cap techs into the FANG stocks, and I thought that was pretty interesting. If you're again a short-term trader, day trader, scalper, there's probably some opportunity in there. I'll look at the technology components first. So again, just a reminder, if you're an all access or VIP member of our Patreon, then you have 24/7 access to all of our spreadsheets, all of our Google Sheets, including our ETF Google Sheet. So you can use this screener as well as our other ETF sheets anytime. And I'll throw the link up to our Patreon in the banner. Again, you can find the link also in the description box below. Again, we greatly appreciate if you're willing and able to provide us support through our Patreon. We, again, greatly appreciate it. So again, I just wanted to reiterate, we see the FANG U, which is the leveraged ETF on the FANG stocks, your Apple, Google, Facebook, Netflix, etc. They probably have Nvidia in there nowadays. We see it tested that upper trend line, got rejected, bounced down, and we see that chop. So every other day is up, down, up, down. See, Friday, even though it was generally down, it was pretty stable. So we see, again, I'd expect a rotation back into the FANG stocks. And I think if it goes and retests this trend line again, I think that's a good opportunity. I think we'll see another rejection. But again, these are very short term. I don't think we'll see a major downtrend in the FANG stocks anytime in the near future. Conversely, though, we see the semiconductors also tested that trend line, broke a little above it, got significantly rejected. It's getting, pretty close to its previous low. So again, we'll probably see a bounce off that previous low, but semiconductors definitely downtrending. The NASDAQ as a whole, the TQQs, is acting much more like the FANG Us. So again, see that chop, got rejected off that trend line. So I find, it looks like these trend lines are pretty reliable in terms of resistance points. So when it hits those resistance points, you can see it's having a tendency to getting rejected. So short-term trade opportunities, these aren't really, I don't know, other than that this trend line, you can see it. These price levels, I don't think have any major significance. So I'm not sure what the psychology is. Other than that, you can see that trend line, and maybe the people are expecting a rejection, and therefore they're selling out early, taking their profits. See the biotech also rejected off of its trend line, but it broke down below the support line, so it's probably headed down. LabVIEW's probably headed down to this pivot point at 6. Again, it's in a wedge. So it broke down below that. So it could have significant more downside down to 6. We'll see if that holds. So I hope that helps. So let me close that guy, and let's go back and we'll look at our other ETFs. So again, just a reminder, our All Access and BIP Patreons have access to our ETF Google Sheet as well as our dividend payers and our puts ROIC. So again, you can use these to help with your trading. Again, a lot of the ways we use the ETF is we look at the futures, etc. If we look for something overly extended, like we talked about palladium a few minutes ago, platinum, etc. If we want to find the ETF that we can use to trade that, then we can go to our main ETF sheet and find a matching ETF to long or short various indices, commodities, topics, etc. So if anyone wants to look at any others, you can throw those up in the chat. In the meantime, Easy Mike and the other day and Walter Lyons were talking about Brazil, and we did already have EW. We had EWZ already in our spreadsheet, which is the long on Brazil. So Brazil had been running, so I wanted to see if we could find some shorts on Brazil. So I was able to find a ultra short ETF BZQ by using the ETF database. Again, we have another video about how to find these ETFs using the ETF database. And again, you can find a link to these tools, the ETF database, etc., under the link section on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com. So that's what I do is I jump over to the ETF database, see if I can find any. If I can't find any in the ETF database, then another way to find ETFs is just search in FinViz, look for exchange traded funds. So here's a whole list of exchange traded funds related to Brazil. So I see, okay, here's one that's short. Here's a couple that are ultras, so that tells me they're leveraged. So those caught my interest, so I did the research on those in the research tab of our Google Sheet. So again, this is my process of how to identify various ETFs on various topics. So you can see BZQ is the only short on Brazil. We can see the risk reward profile for EZQ looks, pretty attractive. And it's the only way to short Brazil. So again, I've added that to the main sheet of our ETF Google Sheet. We had EWZ. And then we found these two leveraged ETFs. BRZU is a 2x, and also Ultra is a 2x. So we can compare the risk reward profiles of those two versus EWZ. So it gives us a couple alternative ways to long Brazil. Again, Brazil's running pretty high right now. So again, 52-week. This BRZU looks attractive, but very long term, this UBR looks more attractive, and both of those look more attractive than EWZ, except maybe on a very short term time frame. So again, we may add these to our main ETF spreadsheet. And also to our database so they get updated automatically. So just a reminder, the white columns are generally based, well, at least these are based on Google Finance functions, but the support and resistance, the bottoms and tops are automatically updated at the end of each day from our automated systems. So if anyone wants to look at any other categories, topics of ETFs, please throw them back up in the chat. If I missed it, I apologize. Let me grab a drink and we can look at those very quickly. Okay. So we talked about the labs. We just recently went long. MJ will look at that trade tomorrow. Well, we've been watching that. You can see that's the long on cannabis. We talked about trading China with yin and yang. We're also watching MET-C. We saw that push down in energy in general. MET-Cs are one of our plays on coal. It's a coking coal. Um, Looking at some of those others, talked about palladium and platinum. So again, the quick and easy way to find an ETF on any of these categories, commodities, etc. So here's palladium. So PAL, again, we went long palladium. So we see a decent risk reward. Platinum, however, doesn't have the risk reward, and you can see it's significantly above its support. So even on the futures chart, although it looked like it was, making a new low, if we zoom out, longer term, we can see, it's not really relatively that low. It's got quite a ways down to go. So again, I always recommend, you zoom out and see, even though the short-term chart looks like it's at a bottom or making a new low, zoom out, make sure that that's really the case. So all the indices, long and short the indices. We talked about semiconductors. So we tend to long with SOXL, short with SOXS. Again, I use SOXL as the indicator when to enter. I always use the long leverage to the top or resistance on the long to indicate an entry on the short. We saw silver decline quite a bit, but we can see it's still relatively high. So short term, long silver with AGQ, short with ZSL. We hold it long term with SLVO. Again, Easy Mike's talking about yang and yin. So yang is the short, yin is the long on China. Again, short term trading. Those are both good. And again, watch out for the reverse split on UVXY, and Boyle also did a reverse split on Friday. So some of the pricing on those can be a bit skewed right now until they get adjusted. So again, long natural gas using Boyle, short using cold, KOLD. Again, day trade, short-term opportunities, although we did see the trend right now is up. Gush and drip for oil. And then again, we're watching USOI as a potential long-term, longer-term hold to collect monthly dividends. It pays about, around $1 a share. It's got a pretty good yield. We'll see that in the dividend payers tomorrow. So I'd like it around, get a dip in oil. I'd like to pick up USOI at 70 or below if possible. Uranium, you can see the uraniums, but they're still pretty high. It did correct a little bit, but talked about Vietnam and India. They're still kind of high. So again, if anyone has any other commodities, ETFs you want to look at, CLIP, yeah, we talked, I think it was last week about CLIP. Here's we did the research on CLIP. So again, you can find the risk reward profiles on CLIP, and we did a separate video with our analysis on CLIP. I think it was last week, but again, you can see the risk reward profile, support and resistance, etc. on CLIP in the research tab on our ETF spreadsheet. So again, if anyone has any other ETFs that you want us to do research on, just let us know. You can tag us in the Discord. Again, our Discord's free to join. Most people start out in the Beach Party channel and just tag us in here. Again, our ID now is just BeachBum Trading. We're the only BeachBum Trading. No pound, no numbers. Anyone with a number or pound sign is an imposter. So just tag us in the Discord. Let us know of any other ETFs you'd like us to do the research on, and we can again analyze those. And if they meet our risk reward profile, then that's something we might add to our database and our ETF spreadsheet, our Google sheet. Someone in the Benziga chats the other day was asking about AI ETFs. Again, we've done a video on the analysis and the research we did on the AI ETFs. You can see the three we have in our spreadsheet: bots, robo, and ubot. And again, we did research on those quite some time ago and did a separate video on the various AI, artificial intelligence ETFs. Okay, so does anyone else have any other questions, topics you want to talk about? Got a few minutes. We'll talk about our dividend payers tomorrow in part 2. We'll look at other opportunities to make money while we wait. So while the market's correcting, if we can't take a short, we'll load up on some of the dividend payers, keep making money while we wait. Also, our option strategies, selling and buying back covered calls, selling and buying back puts. So again, we'll talk about those individual opportunities in more detail tomorrow. So again, if no one has any other questions today, our general question, and we'd love to continuously have your feedback on how we can improve our weekly trading game plans, our videos, our community, etc. So if you have any recommendations, comments, etc., on how we can make this of more value for all of our fellow BeachBum traders, please let us know that in the comments below. In our Discord, we also have a suggestion box. You can put your recommendations, suggestions in the suggestion box. And also you can contact us via any of our social media sites, and you can find links to our social media sites on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. So again, plenty of ways you can let us know how can we do better, how can we add more value for you, which is our goal. And we want to continue to build our community, so we hope that you like this information. We hope you'll share this with your fellow traders and friends, and let's continue to build the community. As you can see in our chat, we've got a great group of people helping each other out, sharing trade ideas in our chats. You can continue these discussions 24/7 in our Discord. So let's continue to help each other make money trading this summer and the rest of the year, and help you all succeed in your trading career. So hope you'll come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m. Eastern time for part 2, and we'll select our top swing trading stocks to watch for this week, June 26th through June 30th. We'll also look at our dividend payers, talk about our option strategies, additional trade ideas, and additional trading strategies. So we hope this all helps, and we hope again to see you all tomorrow for part 2. Thank you to everyone in the chat for joining today, and thank you for everyone that's watching this video after the fact. Hope you have a great day. Good luck and have a great day. Bye.